never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Saturday to everybody out there. Hopefully I see a lot of you guys tonight at 244 Livestock Road, East Denali, Georgia for SWA Random Destruction. 7 o'clock bell time, and hopefully I see a lot of you tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock bell time for the UWF Training Academy Showcase at 6687 Highway 72 West, Colbert, Georgia. And speaking of wrestling, before I get into today's main topic, a lot of you wrestling fanatics out there may know this, may not. I'm not 100% positive that I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Just going by memorization, I believe 27 years ago, yesterday, was the debut of the NWO in WCW. Of course, a lot of people liked it, a lot of people hated it. To me, the NWO was the demise of WCW. WCW was on the up and up until the NWO came along, and then slowly but surely over time it got stupid, and as it got stupid, the company started to go under. And speaking of the NWO, tomorrow is the 64th birthday of one of the founding members of the NWO. Supposedly the best big man of all time, Big Sexy Kevin Nash. He'll be 64 tomorrow. But on to today's main topic. This comes to us courtesy of 24/7 Sports, Brad Crawford. Now, this article just came out 2 days ago on Thursday, so I would say it's about as recent as you can get. And it kind of goes hand in hand with the video I did earlier in the week talking about teams' overall record against top 25 teams. But this is the other end of the spectrum, but it's not teams, it's coaches. These are the coaches that have the worst records against top 25 teams. Now, you can go to 24/7 Sports and find the article written by Brad Crawford, and he actually lists every single coach from the worst to the best as far as their records against top 25 teams. But I figure, since I did that video earlier in the week talking about teams' records against other ranked teams, well, obviously, if you know the team's record, you're pretty close to knowing what the coach's record is. So I'll just do the coaches that don't have very good records against top 25 teams. And as always, as I go along, I'll try to give you a little bit of my opinion on some of these coaches. The coach that has the worst record against top 25 teams is Mike Locksley. He is 2-23, which is about 8%, which is absolutely pathetic. He's another example of somebody who's just not cut out to be a head coach. If you're a longtime college football fan, you might remember that he was a head coach once before. It didn't work out. Alabama, like Nick Saban always does, made up some position and gave it to Mike Locksley. He was successful there, and Nick Saban said he's ready for a head coaching job. Now he's been at Maryland for a few years, and he's went nowhere. Now, according to some people, Maryland's going to have a 9 or 10 win season this year. I don't see it. I've seen their schedule. I don't see them winning more than 7 games max. And he wins 6 or 7 games just about every year. But I believe if he goes 6-6 or 7-5 again this year, he'll be on the hot seat going into next year. He's just outkicked his coverage. He's meant to be an assistant coach, not a head coach. Number 2 on the list is Jeff Hafley. He is 1-9 against ranked teams, which is exactly 10%. So not very good. And that one win came last year, late in the season against NC State. Number 3 on the list is Matt Rule, who is 2-16, which is 11.1%. But I believe that changes this year because I think Nebraska is going to beat a ranked team somewhere this year. Just not sure who yet. Number 4 is Tom Allen, a little bit higher than Matt Rule at 11.5%, 3 wins and 23 losses. And it wasn't but a couple of years ago where Tom Allen had an excellent season at Indiana, and it seemed like he was the next big head coach. And then after that year, they haven't done absolutely anything. This will probably be his last year with the Hoosiers. Number 5 on the list is a guy that honestly I feel kind of sorry for. He's supposedly on the hot seat going into this year, but if he is, then the program is absolutely bonkers. But I'm talking about Greg Schiano. He is 4-27, which is 12.9%, which is pathetic. But he coaches Rutgers. You tell me a Rutgers head coach besides Greg Schiano that's beat a top 25 team. They don't do it. So yeah, 4-27 is bad, but it's better than any other coach in the history of Rutgers. And for whatever reason, this go around at Rutgers hasn't been near as successful as his first go around there. But still, he's the best coach they've ever seen. And if they fire him, they're idiots. Number 6 on the list, James Franklin. He is 13-20, which is 30.2%. And I know that looks bad on paper just looking at it. But most of the time when he loses to ranked teams, it's just because they're better than Penn State is. Like this year, there's a chance Penn State might go 10-2, with their 2 losses being to Michigan and Ohio State. 2 teams that are better than they are. So I'm not really going to dog you for losing to teams that you should lose to. It's not like Penn State's going out there with these great teams and losing to nobodies, or losing to a team that's ranked 24th or 23rd like Iowa sometimes or Northwestern. They're losing to top 5 and top 10 teams. There's no shame in that. They're just better than you are. Number 7 is the last coach I'll talk about, and that is Jim Harbaugh. He's at 47.1% with a record of 16-18. So he's almost at 500. Has a chance to be at 500 this year, all depending on how many teams Michigan ends up playing at ranked when the season's over with. But I'm only mentioning 7 because those are the only 7 coaches that have a losing record against ranked teams. Beginning with the 8th coach on down, every other coach has a winning record, and That's not bad. So 7 coaches who currently coach have the worst records against ranked teams. Now, of course, these are coaches who have been coaching their school for at least a handful of years. You're not going to find a guy that just started last year on the list. Every guy on this list has been at his current school for a while except for Matt Rule, but that's because he's new at Nebraska, but he's not new to the collegiate football game, just new to Nebraska. Any thoughts on this? As always, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Where do fruits go on vacation? Paris. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.